presidente da Comissão da UE von der Leyen, cada crise é uma oportunidade. Ursula von der Leyen faz um discurso poderoso sobre a missão e responsabilidade da Europa no Congresso do PP 2025 em Valência, abordando as questões-chave que o continente enfrenta.
Thank you very much, my dear friends. Dear Manfred, dear EPP family, it's wonderful to be here today, and a very special thank you to you, Alberto Fejo, for your amazing hospitality. You have organized this incredible Congress at a really important time. And allow me also to say a word to yesterday's events. Yesterday, citizens across Spain and Portugal and parts of France faced an unprecedented power outage. And I would like to commend them for the calm and the civility that they have displayed in the midst of this most challenging blackout. They've shown collective responsibility. They've shown solidarity with the people that suddenly found themselves unable to go home. And let me in particular thank the police, the firefighters, the traffic controllers. In all countries, they've been working under immense pressure to protect the citizens and to maintain the order. Gracias e obrigada a todos. This EPP Congress is a reunion of friends, and I particularly want to pay tribute to my dear friend Manfred. Manfred, you are known as an outstanding leader. Last summer, it was an honor and it was a pleasure to hit the campaign trail with you. And my friends, look at what we have achieved together. We scored a resounding victory in the European elections. We are by far the largest group in the European Parliament. Roberta's leadership won her a second well-deserved mandate. And we have one of the largest EPP teams ever in the European Commission, and it's great to see so many of you here today. Dear Manfred, you have made EPP strong. And a strong EPP means a strong Europe. So you have my full support to lead us for another term as President of EPP. And let me also thank you for choosing Dolores Montserrat as candidate for the Secretary General. Dear Dolores, thank you for putting so much passion in everything you do. You're a great choice to be the first woman Secretary General of our party. And I think Roberta will agree with me when I say other parties speak of gender balance. We, EPP, we deliver on it. And dear friends, just over a year ago, I stood in front of you in Bucharest to ask for your support. And I remember sharing with you the lesson of my father, that Europe is more than a market. Europe is more than a set of institutions. Europe is more than a union. Europe is our home, and our first mission is to protect the place we call home. It is about prosperity. It is about security. It is about democracy. And this is what we as EPP have promised to the people of Europe. And they have entrusted on us to deliver on this promise, because they know leadership that is equivalent with EPP. As we've shown from Donald Tusk in Poland, to Kyriakos Mitsotakis in Greece, from Petteri Orpo in Finland, to Andrej Plenković in Croatia, from Nikos Christodoulides in Cyprus, to Ulf Kristersson in Sweden, from Luis Montenegro in Portugal to Luc Frieden in Luxembourg, from Ivica Silinia in Latvia to Christian Stocker, we just heard him, in Austria, from Zelja Skov-Rosen in Bulgaria to Ili Boloyan in Romania, and in a few days, Friedrich Merz in Germany will join us. And my friends, all of you here, from ministers to mayors, from European Parliament to local government, you know the simple truth. With greater power comes greater responsibility. And my friends, today is also the day to say again very clearly, we are willing to take on this responsibility. EPP means leadership, and we will deliver for Europe on all levels. That's our promise. And my friends, our victory last year belongs to all of you. But we also know that election day is never a finish line. It's the moment to hit the ground running. And this is what we've done from day one on. In our difficult times, nothing can be taken for granted. For decades, free trade has been a driver of global prosperity. It has lifted billions out of poverty and sustained the livelihood of millions of European families. Now, global markets are shaken by the unpredictable tariff policy of the US administration. US tariffs on the rest of the world are at their highest in a century. The IMF issued a stark warning last week, and that is no surprise, because tariffs are like taxes. They hurt consumers and business alike. They affect Wall Street as well as Main Street. Millions of citizens will face higher grocery bills. Medicines will cost more. Transportation will cost more. Inflation will go up. And this is hurting, in particular, the most vulnerable citizens. Business, small and big, suffer from day one. Greater uncertainty, disruption of supply chains, burdensome bureaucracy. My friends, we cannot and we will not allow this to happen. We have to double down on our hallmark policies of open markets, of win-win trade and investment partnership, and of free and fair trade. But in every crisis, and Christian Stocker, you said it, in every crisis there's also an opportunity. Not only is our single market the largest in the world because of its openness to the world that is so much greater than that of the United States and China, but we are also world champion in export to GDP. So our companies need the global markets. And in this moment of crisis, it pays off that Europe is reliable and predictable. We have already the largest network of free trade agreements with 76 countries around the world. Now the world of trade is turning towards us. And Friedrich, you mentioned it. Since last year, we've concluded a new wave of trade deals from Mercosur to Mexico to Switzerland. We're working with India and Indonesia, with the Emirates and Thailand, the Philippines and Malaysia and the Pacific. They all want to deal with us because we are fair, we are reliable, and we play by the rules. So, my friends, let's stay the course, cool-headed and united, because that's who we are, and that's the European way of trade. Let's stick to that. But the key to our prosperity is to put our own house in order and to make business easy right here in Europe. Our single market is a safe harbor for European businesses, a place where they can grow strong before they set sails on global markets. But we've discussed here today too, the vitality of the single market is held back by too many national barriers, too much fragmentation, too much bureaucracy. And that's why we introduce the now famous omnibuses to simplify and to speed up. I mean, we have so many opportunities, we have to grasp them now. And take just a digital startup in Europe, a digital startup that wants to scale up in the European single market. Instead of having one single rule to deal with across the European Union, this digital startup is facing across all member states over 270 national regulators active in digital networks. This is unbearable. That fragmentation is the key factor why we are falling behind. If we remove all obstacles inside our union, we could boost our own GDP as much as 10%. So, my friend, it's time to break the chains. Europe was once the cradle of innovation. We want to be it again. Let's free up European innovation, and let's boost again the entrepreneur spirit of Europe. That is the EPP task we have ahead of us now, and we will deliver, my friends. And this is the moment to stand up also, not only for our strength, but also for our values. We don't invade our neighbors, and we don't punish them. On the contrary, there are 12 countries who absolutely want to become members of the European Union. That's round about 150 million people. In Europe, children can go to good schools independent of their parents' income. Controversial debates at universities are welcome. We consider freedom of science and research as fundamental, not only because it is a core value of us, but also because this is how excellence and innovation thrives. And this is why Europe is open to the best and brightest. This is why we will make proposals to help them choose Europe. Because we want scientists and researchers from all over the world to make Europe their home and to make Europe the home of innovation again. That's the moment to act right now, my friends. It's a very special moment to attract the best and the brightest. But now is the moment to act. Choose Europe. And my friends, we must continue to deliver on what matters to the people of Europe. Food security is key to our overall security. And we must always be grateful to our farmers who provide us with quality food every single day. They are the custodians of our land and our most ancient traditions. But we also know that their job is of key strategic importance. So, their hard work must pay off. Farmers deserve a fair income for the food they produce and a level playing field with global competitors. Last year in Bucharest, we discussed to provide them with better incentives, better rewards for protecting nature, and much less administrative burden. And now, my friends, we have to deliver this, we have to get it done. And from the beginning, I have emphasized that migration is a common European challenge that needs a common European answer. We are following a twofold strategy. First, we have to take control of the numbers of illegal arrivals. It is important that migration does not happen at a faster pace than our communities can keep up with. And to be very clear, we will fulfill our international obligations. We've done it in the past, we do it today, we'll do it tomorrow. But it is us, the Europeans, who decide who is coming to Europe and under what circumstances, and not the smugglers and traffickers. Since the start of this year, illegal border crossings have gone down by 30%. And this shows that our engagement with our southern neighbors delivers. And we will continue this work. And second, we have to implement the Migration Pact and Asylum Pact. We have a new body of law that helps us to put our house in order. Let's focus on doing this. And we need better results on return. My friends, it cannot be that only 20% of those who have a negative asylum decision actually leave Europe. This is why we cannot go on like this. It's way too low, the figure, and we cannot explain it to our citizens. We must do better. And this is why last month we proposed new legislation, because being tough on illegal migration allows us to pave the way for much-needed labor migration, because Europe should always be open to more talent and more skills. And finally, dear friends, security for Europe also means doing our own defense. The threat posed by Russia will not go away. And we know that the American focus will increasingly shift towards other regions. So there is no doubt peace in Europe requires that we take much greater responsibility for our own defense. And already at our Congress in Bucharest, we discussed to turbocharge our defense industrial capacity. But no one could imagine how much we'd achieve in a short span of a year. Up to 800 billion euros of investment are now there for our common defense. All 27 member states are on board. New defense partnership with Norway and soon with the UK. We've done more as EPP for European defense in a single year than in several decades. The EPP has always been the party of European defense. And today we are the party that is delivering on the European Defence Union, my friends. This was the dream of de Gasperi and Schuman and Adenauer. And now their dream is coming to life. And the people of Europe are massively in favor. But we also see that the far left and the far right have always opposed this idea. And now again from the fringes, some are trying to boycott this European awakening. They say Russia is not a threat, and Europe is not the answer. So let me be very clear. Only a strong Europe can protect peace in our continent. And the far right and the far left are not pro-peace. They are just pro-Putin. And we will not allow this to happen. We all have seen how Putin negotiates. We all have seen how Putin negotiates. Just 2 weeks ago, on Palm Sunday, Putin launched ballistic missiles on people going to church. He has proven time and again that he cannot be trusted, and he can only be deterred. For just and lasting peace, we must continue to stand with Ukraine, with more military and financial support, with more pressure on Russia, and yes, with a clear pathway for Ukraine to join our European Union. And our message to Ukraine is very clear. Your freedom is our freedom. Your security is our security. And your future is in our European Union. And my dear friends, we in EPP stand for a democratic Europe, where the people decide and where they are masters of their own future. This has been our guiding light ever since the EPP was born back in 1976. 50 years ago, come next year. That's when our founders joined forces and laid out the first EPP manifesto. The title was Together for a Europe of Free People. 50 years ago. And this is the aspiration that has guided us for half a century. And it must still guide us today. A Europe of free people, free to choose our path, free from fear and oppression, free to shape our European home. That is the soul of the EPP. It was our first motto, it remains our mission and our moral duty. So long live the European People's Party and long live Europe. Thank you so much.